It is the 2nd of April already, which means it's the first day of the Aprilathon, and yeah, I'm just gonna try to vlog as much of this as possible. The goal is to read 5 books this week. There are 6 challenges, but I'm combining one. So yeah, I'm also participating in the OWLsReadathon, so I'm taking my owls this month. This is a month-long readathon about like the Harry Potter owl chess themes. So if you want to participate in that, I'm gonna leave the link to the announcement video down below. It's actually quite a cool idea, and there might be the nudes at one point as well. So I'm gonna try to combine the themes of this week's Aprilathon with that a little bit. But yeah, at the moment, this is my TBR. There are, as I said, 5 books. 3 of them are German, 2 of them are English. This is just my notebook. I also switched this one up. Originally it was gonna be... Oh, where are you? Originally it was gonna be Perks of Being a Wallflower, which was for the challenge, a book you're excited about. But I was so excited about it that I already read it last week. But yeah, that copy is my best friend's one, and she gave it to me for this, or like for me to read in general, but I want to give it back at the end of the week, so I'm gonna probably start with this one, just to kind of get it out of the way, and also because I'm pretty excited about the story. And yeah, I guess I'm just gonna get reading. It is currently 6 p.m. and I still have about 100 pages left. I'm not completely sure whether I will be able to finish it today, but it is really interesting. It's still quite a parody, but with all the parody elements it is still getting more serious in a way that it's kind of... I feel like there are more, there are broader subjects in it now. In the beginning there were a lot of like little details and little everyday things, and then there were a lot of, yeah, not so small details, but still like little things that are important in our life right now. So there was a lot of criticism on like certain aspects of technology and internet, and also political criticism, and now it's getting more theoretical and broader and more like, yeah, what would happen if. And personally I find that really interesting. I love thinking about like how we could change the world and what would happen if we would do certain things, and what exactly the internet is and what exactly humanity is, and how all of this will develop in 100 years. So I'm really enjoying this part right now, but also because it is so theoretical and so, yeah, kind of imaginary, because we can never say what will really happen, because of that aspect that's becoming more present now. It is also a bit more difficult to read, and also I just want to take more breaks now to really think about what I've read, because with this parody aspect and this funny aspect that was more present in the beginning of the book, it was also easier to kind of flip through and just kind of take it in and laugh about it and be like, yeah, this is really funny, I already know that everything's bad. But now there are so many new things I never really knew about and never really considered, but also things that this criticizes that I'm not sure I agree with. So yeah, I want to think about it in more detail and want to take the time to really take this in. So yeah, as I said, not sure I'm gonna finish this today, but I will try to finish it tomorrow. I will spend some of the evening with my parents because I'm at home, and you know, family time and that stuff. So yeah, gonna leave it here for today, and then we'll see how much I've read and how much I'm gonna read tomorrow. Good morning and welcome to day 2 of the Aprilathon. So good. I didn't end up reading anything more. Of course, we learned yesterday So I still am at page 260, still have about 100 pages to go. Not quite sure how much of that I'm gonna get done today though, because I'm spending most of the day with my two best friends, which is lovely, but also means not so much reading time. Maybe I'll get it done like in the evening when we're back. And of course I'm gonna take a book with me, you know, just in case. However, as I said, this isn't my copy and it has this gorgeous, really thick hardback, and I just don't want to shove it in my backpack and potentially ruin it. So instead I'm gonna take this with me, The Refugees, which is a really floppy collection of short stories, which I think is perfect to take with me, and it's my copy, so I don't care if it's damaged. It's now 9:30 and I haven't read any further on Quality Land. I just really didn't have that much time. As I said, I spent most of the day with my two best friends, which was really, really lovely. We had a great day. I just didn't have time to get back into the story, and I want to take the time to really delve into these, so I probably finish this tomorrow. I did, however, read 3 short stories of The Refugees, which was really embracing. I don't know how else to describe it, because I was just in the stories immediately, and I read the first 3 stories of this, which are all really individual and different and tell different life stories and have different experiences worked into them, but they are still combined obviously by the factor that they are all about refugees and all about also Asian refugees. And I'm just really interested to see how that continues on in the further stories, and how the further stories kind of intertwine in this collection, but then are also set apart by their individual stories. Also, they are just so gorgeously written. There are so wonderful, beautiful sentences. There's a lot of really beautiful description of feelings especially, and a lot of also quotable sentences where I just felt like I want this like on a wall somewhere, because it's just so beautiful. As I said in my TBR, there are 8 short stories in this, and I'm counting this for 2 separate challenges, so I want to read 4 short stories a day. So I'm gonna try to read the 4th short story tonight at some point. Yeah, gonna try to do that, give you a little update on that tomorrow. And as I said, I'm gonna try to complete Quality Land, or finish reading Quality Land tomorrow as well. And whilst I was out with the girls, I obviously also went to bookshop. So I just quickly want to tell you what books I bought. I probably won't read them for this, but you know, books. Because this whole box in my bookshelf are books I haven't read yet. And because it wasn't full enough, apparently, I also went ahead and bought these 2 gorgeous books. Now the first one I totally bought out of aesthetics. It's a poetry collection by Ricarda. I hope I'm not butchering that too much, should have probably looked that up. It's called The Sun and Her Flowers, and it just has this gorgeous cover and also really cute illustrations in between, which I just found really sweet. And then on the back it has this really beautiful poem that just had me buy it immediately. "This is the recipe of life," said my mother as she held me in her arms as I wept. "Think of those flowers you plant in the garden each year. They will teach you that people too must wilt, fall, root, rise in order to bloom." And I just thought that was gorgeous, and I wanted to read more of that. And the second book I bought was Down and Across by Arvin Amadi. Again, just a really pretty cover. I've never heard of this book before, but I thought the story sounded funny and sweet. It's about a boy who doesn't really know what to do with his life, and a girl who wants to spend her life writing crossword puzzles. And I thought that was an interesting combination. So I'm excited to read this. As I said, probably won't read either of these for the Aprilathon. Maybe I'll pick this up for one of the challenges of the magical readathon, or of the owl readathon, however you want to call that. It's now 1:30 and I finally finished Quality Land. And it's so good! There was a lot of stuff to think about and a lot of stuff I'm not quite sure about yet, but it was just really good and I really enjoyed reading it and it was so interesting and funny. I think I'm gonna have to reread it at some point. The interesting thing is also that this is the black version and there's also a grey version, and in between there are these like news from Quality Land, like this, where we have news stories from Quality Land, from the country this takes place in, and like the comments to it, and yeah, stuff like that. So it's kind of an addition to the main storyline. And in the black edition, those are all bad news or like negative news, and apparently in the grey edition of the book these are positive news. So as I said, this is my best friend's copy. I'm gonna give that back to her, and maybe at some point I'm gonna buy my own version because I really did love the book, and maybe then I'm gonna buy the grey version and see what the positive news are. Also, as I expected, there isn't really an ending. I kind of, from the way I know the author and the story was written, I kind of expected that there wouldn't be an ending that's kind of open and that there isn't really a conclusion, and that's exactly what happened, which means that I can now kind of create my own conclusion and yeah, figure out what I think happened next or happened in the ending, which I honestly quite enjoy. So yeah, gonna take a little break now, maybe take a walk, it's actually quite nice weather, we'll see. And then start a new book. Which one do I want to start? It's now 10 p.m. and I am 120 pages into Die Symphonie des Augenblicks, or The Symphony of the Moment, which is the German translation of an English book, and it's honestly just really beautiful. It's kind of historical in the way that several wars and several like historical events that did actually happen do occur in the story, but like the main plot and the main characters are all fictional. And it's just really beautifully written and also very easy to fly through. So I'm gonna stop for now because it's divided into several parts depending on where the main character is at the moment. And I just finished one part. So I have about 100 pages to go, which I'm hoping to finish tomorrow morning. But yeah, just really lovely. And as it says, the Symphony of the Moment is, yeah, it really does focus on the beautiful things in each and every moment. It's really pretty. I'm also gonna read these as the historical fiction for the Owl Readathon or the Magical Readathon, because, you know, I'm not into historical fiction and this is historical enough for me. But yeah, just really enjoy this at the moment. As I said, I also finished Quality Land today and read the 4 stories of refugees yesterday night, so I'm doing quite well. I still have Stephen Hawking's Short History of Time and The Vindication of the Rights of Women, which are all or both quite like heavy subjects, or at least they're like kind of scientific and like teachery and scholarly. So I'm gonna keep pushing those back. I do want to read them and they're both quite short, but just the heavy subjects, and I kind of want to focus on like nice fiction stories for now. But yeah, that's it for today, I think. Maybe I'll read one of the short stories of refugees later on. Maybe I'll just watch Netflix, let's be honest. So I've been sick for the past 2 days in a way that I couldn't read or really do anything at all, which wasn't really nice. It wasn't nice, let's just, yeah. It wasn't nice, but I'm back now, I can read now. I'm still a little bit not so well, so it's taking longer to read or to concentrate on things than it would usually. But it's gorgeous weather outside, and I sat outside for most of the day, or most of the, half day that we've had now. It's now 3 p.m. on Saturday, and as I said, I sat outside most of the time, and I finished reading The Symphony of the Moment, Die Symphonie des Augenblicks, which was gorgeous, just so beautiful and wonderful in representing life and all its little wonders and details and what it means to get to know people and to live life and to remember experiences you've had, and it's just so beautifully written and just really a gorgeous novel, really beautiful. And I'm glad I got to read so much of it outside in the sunshine, which was just the perfect setting for it. I'm really happy I got to finish this. I think I can manage to finish The Refugees today and tomorrow. I have 4 stories left, but hopefully I can manage to finish this as well. And then I still have these 2 left. And yes, I do want to read them, but honestly, I don't feel up to it, and I'm definitely not gonna force myself to read them if I don't feel up to it. So as I said, I missed 2 days and therefore I didn't get to read 2 books. So probably will only finish 3 of the 5 books. So it's now a week later, and I just want to quickly wrap up what I read throughout the Aprilathon. I made this little cute chart in my calendar. As you can see, 1 book is still not colored, which means I only managed to complete 5 of the 6 challenges and didn't manage to read all the books I wanted to read during the Aprilathon. As I said, I was sick for 2 days, so I'm gonna still count that as a success, because if I had had those 2 days, I probably would have managed to read everything. So for the challenge to read a book you required recently, I read the short story collection Refugees. It was really emotional, which of course I did expect, but the way that the author conveys the different emotional states those refugees go through, especially the ones who only have their memories to look back on and who have been in America or in the country they fled to for decades now, and who don't know what their home country is like now. Especially those emotions and those kind of thought processes they went through were conveyed just really realistically and kind of close up. It felt like I was really feeling those things firsthand and not secondhand. It was just really beautiful. My favorite color on the cover was The Symphony of the Moment, Die Symphonie des Augenblicks, which was a German translation of an Italian book, and it was so beautiful. The title just really fits the story. It was so wonderful, it was so detailed, and really about the symphony of the moment, about those little things that we sometimes forget in everyday life. There's this scene where the protagonist learns to speak to the birds, and it's just so gorgeously described. Then for the hype book, I was gonna read The Short History of Time by Stephen Hawking because of his recent death, so I guess he's kind of hyped, so I wanted to read that.
and I will still do that at some point, also because I gave my best friend the illustrated edition of that for her birthday, and she's really clever and I'm not so much in the science department, so I want to read that and ask her stuff about it. But instead I read The Sun and Her Flowers, which is a poetry collection by Rupi Kaur. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And the thing I actually didn't realize when I read this and bought this was that Rupi Kaur is the woman who wrote Milk and Honey, which was really hyped last year. And The Sun and Her Flowers is also, I think, New York Times bestseller. I honestly really didn't read or like Milk and Honey. I read some of the poems and decided not to buy it or to read it, even though it was so hyped, because it was really sad and I just didn't enjoy the tone of the poetry. But with The Sun and Her Flowers, it's just so... yeah, it's really happy, and the ones that aren't happy, and there are a lot of not really happy poems in it as well, but those are still kind of uplifting. And even in the poems where she talks about being down, it's always about getting up again and fighting the sadness and fighting the negative things in the world in order to be happy again. And just the general message of the poetry collection for me was to find happiness within yourself and within your own life. And then there were these gorgeous little doodles in it of flowers and pretty things. I also read it in the sunshine outside because it was a gorgeous day, so it really worked. Then the book I was excited about reading was originally gonna be The Perks of Being a Wallflower, but I was so excited about reading that one that I read it before the Aprilathon. So instead I decided to read Quality Land, which is by a German author, and it's kind of like sci-fi dystopian. It's about this future world where everything is digital, everything's on the internet, and everything's also decided by the internet kind of. And it's about this guy who finds that the system that he kind of lives in, this internet system, this digital system, doesn't quite represent him correctly, and he wants people to know who he really is, and he wants the system to know who he really is. And it's just really funny, but after laughing about it I still thought about it a lot, and there were also some things I just kind of didn't want to think about too much because they aren't that unrealistic. So just a really interesting read, and I think I'm gonna have to reread it at some point once I kind of develop my own thoughts on what he criticized. Then for the book I've been meaning to read for a while, I was gonna read The Validation of the Rights of Women by Mary Wollstonecraft, but I didn't manage to do that. That was the book I wanted to read during the 2 days I was sick. Kind of funny that it's the one I've been meaning to read for a while. I probably have this for like a year now. I will read it at some point, but not now. And then the last challenge was to read a book with a beautiful cover, and I kind of doubled the Refugees short story collection for that because it just has a wonderful cover, and as I said it were 8 short stories, so I kind of took 4 for one challenge and 4 for the other challenge and read those together. And that's my wrap up. I just had a really fun time during Aprilathon, except for the 2 days where I was sick. I wish I could have read all the books I wanted to read, but it just wasn't supposed to be, I guess. And maybe next time when April is doing this again, I'm gonna be better or feel better. But still, the books I read were just really wonderful. I had a lot of fun reading all of them, and I think that April did a wonderful thing here. So as I said in the beginning of this video, all the links will be down below. I think she also vlogged her Aprilathon, so all those links will be down below. Make sure to check her out. I'm also still participating in the OWLsReadathon. I have this lovely chart, which is going on during the entirety of April, so if you want to still join you can do that. Basically it's about the subjects of the owls in Harry Potter, and then you can read a book for each subject, and depending on how many challenges you complete you get a different owl level. And I think that's just a really cool idea. So as you can see, I've already finished 3 books which were also part of the Aprilathon, and I'm gonna try to read as much of these as possible in April. I hope you always have a reason to smile, and I shall see you soon. Bye!